What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. And more specifically, we're going to talk about where the potential cycle highs will be for Bitcoin. I'm going to make a case for $500,000. Yes, you heard me. I'm going to make a case for it, and I'm not going to do it in the way that I've been doing it throughout the existence of this channel. I've actually got a new kind of thing that I'd like to bring up. Let's call it a series of coincidences that all line up around the same area. Let's just see if it makes sense to you guys. We'll run with it. If that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Again, there's going to be a lot of things that would suggest the same things that I'm going to say in this video that I'm going to leave out. I'm going to leave out a lot of things. I want to keep it very specific to this kind of new, just like coincidence of occurrences that I've discovered. So let's go through this. Okay, I'm just going to stop talking about it, stop using words, and just show you guys what I'm looking at here. So first and foremost, we look at Bitcoin. We see its all-time existence, right? We're on the all-time history index, BTC USD index, all-time history right here. Monthly time frame where each candle is worth 1 month. You've got bull cycle number 1, bull cycle number 2, bull cycle number 3, 4, and we're in bull cycle number 5 right now, okay? The very first cycle high to the very first cycle low, we went all the way up on the next cycle. Our next cycle's high was all the way up above the 2272. From a high here to a low here, we went all the way up just above our 2272, right there, right? Just above our high, above the 2272 from high to low. Last cycle, we did not go to the 2272. From high to low, we only went to the 1618. We double topped there. And I think we were supposed to, on this last bit here, I think we were supposed to have our finale phase that ran us up to the 2272, but we didn't for whatever reason. I mean, probably for a plethora of reasons, but I digress. From a high to a low this time, what we've seen so far in Bitcoin's history is that from a high to a low, every cycle has gone either to the 1618 or to the 2272. Saying every cycle is it's not too dramatic because we've only had, like 5 cycles, 4 of which have had fibs to play off of, right? But I do think 173 to 462 and likely just above 462 would be the area that we go to, because every time that we've hit these fibs, the 1618, we went just above it. When we hit the 2272, the other 2 times, we went just above it. I think last cycle we were robbed. I think this cycle we're not going to be robbed. I think we're going to be vindicated, validated. It's going to be everything that everybody wants it to be and more, right? So I think that we could go to about $500,000. Now that's not the eye-opening thing for me, right? Is the fib things. That's just something that lines up with this area. What's eye-opening for me is that I was looking at Bitcoin here. If CoinGecko wasn't such a glitching, it's not this glitchy on my phone. It's only on this computer. I don't know why. Like, I know it's not my internet because I have the same internet on my phone, but here I think it's safe to say that basically a $100,000 Bitcoin, right, is worth basically $2 trillion in market cap. I think that we can associate 100K, the psychological level of 100K, with the psychological level of 2K. Okay. Now I want you to think and just do very simple math here. Okay. With the area that I was just expecting Bitcoin to go, which was at about 500,000, right? Because $500,000 is just above the 2272. It's right here, okay? I'm sure some dots are already connecting for some people, maybe not. We'll connect them in a second. But again, from this high to low here, you went just above your 2272. This high to low, you went just above your 2272 as well. So I'm calling just above the 2272. 500K is a nice psychological level to find resistance at, and it's right there at that 2272 that we found resistance at in our previous bull cycles that were pretty strong. Didn't have the Ukraine-Russia war. We weren't coming out of COVID. We didn't have high inflation all over the world. We didn't have, the threat of World War III coming about. The DXY was expanding on this phase. It's not expanding now. All these different things that just aren't there that held us back last cycle, we don't have them current, and it doesn't look like they're going to be current this cycle. So I don't think we stop at the 1618. I really do think we hit the 2272. The dots that I want to connect are that at 100,000, we have a $2 trillion market cap. If we took 100,000 and we went to 500,000, that's basically times 5, right? So psychological level at 100K on your price, also a psychological level there at 2 trillion on your market cap. Psychological level there at 500K, $500,000, 500K. Psychological level there at $10 trillion for the market cap. Okay? And now here's something that's pretty cool. Here's something that I thought was cool, right? Is that I've done these total analyses before, right? In the past, maybe like a couple times where I've tried to guess where I think the all-time high for the crypto total market cap is going to be. And here we are right now at 3.56. I have the same theory for the total market cap as I do for the Bitcoin price. Is that last cycle we were held back. We had all these reasons to be held back. We went only to the 1618. We did not go higher. Okay. I'm going to delete this fib here so we can kind of see. You got a double top basically at the 1618 as well. We don't have other cycles to go off of because this chart didn't exist before then. There were alts that existed before then, but I mean, maybe not. Not too many of them, right? This is all we have, right? Bitcoin had a longer existence, so we were able to get that 2272 extension validated here. We don't have it here. All we have is a 1618 extension. So based off of that alone, from a high to a low, the obvious quote unquote safe, respectable choice would be that we go to a 1.618 market cap by the end of the cycle. But I don't think that that's what's going to happen. I think, like Bitcoin, we were robbed last cycle, and I think that we're going to go all the way up to the 2272. Now think about this, okay? The 2272 is right there at about 18.31 trillion, and likely we will go just above it. What is just above 18.3 trillion that might be a psychological level that's to be respected, that's like a round number, is 20 trillion. Okay, now just hold up. Hold up. There's some more dots that are going to be connected. If you're like, C-Zar, you're crazy. What are you even saying? You think you're making a point? I don't understand it. Let's try and tie this all together, okay? So now I want to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, BTC.D. Okay, now we're looking at this thing here. I don't know how low the dominance is going to go, right? Each cycle, it seems to be getting lower highs, and for the last two cycles, we've promoted higher lows. So it's safe to assume, potentially, that this cycle we might form higher lows as well. Where are they going to be? I don't know. Will it be here? Will it be there? Will it be all the way up here? Will we form lower lows? I don't know. I feel like this to me seems like too high of a low, and this to me seems like too low of a low, but something in between here, right, is probably where Bitcoin's going to go. Probably. If it does see a lower low, it's probably not going to be lower than this, right, for the dominance. Okay, so now back to the thinking about things, thinking about the total market cap, thinking about the price, thinking about everything. If Bitcoin is going to be worth $500,000 by the end of the cycle, that would give it a $10 trillion market cap. $10 trillion. If the dominance is going to drop as it has for the last few cycles, and we drop down maybe not to the upper ends limits, maybe not to the lower ends limits, but maybe something just below, which, by the way, 50% is right here. It's this line, right? I drew this line up here. That's below 50%. So I think it's very safe to say that BTC dominance is going to be worth less than 50%. Let's put it at 50% just to make the math easy, okay? If it hasn't connected, it should connect with this next bit that we're going to do here, okay? 50%. If Bitcoin dominance is worth 50%, that would mean that it's got 50% of the total market cap. If the total market cap is projected to go just above 18.3 trillion, probably likely to about 20 trillion, what is half of 20 trillion? 10 trillion, which if we got to $500,000 would be exactly what Bitcoin's market cap would be. It would be 10 trillion, which would then imply that Bitcoin would have a 50% dominance over the whole cycle or over the whole market. But that's likely not going to happen, right? That's likely not going to happen. Likely Bitcoin's dominance will be less than 50% by the time the cycle's done. And I want to offer another perspective, right? Another perspective here before we're done, right? When Bitcoin does top off, likely, at least compared to any other cycle we've had other than last cycle, and even last cycle, actually, I want to compare others here. Others. And we'll do new price scale, sure. New price scale, and we'll logarithmicize it. We will get it, we'll even get it onto the candlesticks real quick. So I think it's obvious, at least I hope it's obvious. The top one is others. This one here is Bitcoin, okay? Others, you see Bitcoin here in 2017, it topped off in December 2017. The others chart, ergo the altcoin market, altcoins didn't top off until a whole month later. I have a point, I promise. Bitcoin topped off December, altcoins topped off a month later in January. Going to the next cycle, where we had a double top for Bitcoin, Bitcoin cycle ended here, or truthfully, I guess it ended here in, that would be May of 2021. Altcoins, I guess, actually topped off a month before then in April, to be completely fair, on the others chart. But then here, you've got your top off both at November here for Bitcoin, and then the actual high for others was in November as well. So that time it wasn't a month afterwards, but still around the time of Bitcoin's high, right? My prediction is that by the end of this cycle, you guys, Bitcoin will top off like the 2017 cycle and like the cycles before. We don't have it here on the others chart. It's not available on the others chart, but if we had it, if I like took, I don't know, if I had the Ethereum chart, Dogecoin chart, Litecoin chart, any coins that existed before the 2017 cycle that had a high maybe in 2013 here, you would notice that Bitcoin topped off in November. The other coins topped off in December or January even, right? They topped off after Bitcoin. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that they topped off after Bitcoin, both of these cycles. This last cycle, they topped off at the same time. Some of them topped off instead of in April last cycle, they topped off in May. Why was it May? Did I have it backwards? I did have it backwards when I was doing that analysis. Oh my goodness, I'm so silly. I had it backwards. The others chart, that's what it was. Hold on, y'all. I thought that it was in May, but it was Bitcoin that was in May. We bring it back here. Hold on. I hope I didn't confuse anybody right there, but this actually validates what I'm saying, so I want to bring it back. I got confused because of the charts, okay? The bottom one is now others, but if you look last cycle here, Bitcoin topped off in April, the others chart topped off in May. Okay, so again, topping off later than Bitcoin. That's the whole point I'm trying to make by this. Painstakingly so, and probably not the best way. It's a little bit scattered, but there's a point that I'm trying to make. Okay, so if Bitcoin sees its all-time highs this cycle, wherever it may be, likely altcoins will top off afterwards, right? They will top off afterwards, which means the Bitcoin market cap will be coming down while altcoins are topping off. My theory is, because if we look at the total market cap here and we get my projections, if Bitcoin were to hit a $10 trillion market cap, okay, and it was worth 50% of altcoins, it had to be at the 50% mark, then this would make sense, right? Then this would make sense. But if Bitcoin were to hit a $10 trillion market cap, if we were to hit $500,000 in price, and it were to see a drop in dominance that was somewhat expected, right? Something of like a higher low, something that's probably more likely closer to 40% than 50%. Well, then at that rate, you know, this kind of projection on the total chart goes out the window. It'd be more likely that we probably see something as high as 29 or 30. But when we factor in the case, and I hope this all makes sense now, right? This is where we tie it all together. We factor in the case that Bitcoin will top off before most altcoins, and it will likely pull back while altcoins take strides higher over a month's long period or more even. It makes sense that maybe Bitcoin's market cap is worth, instead of 10 trillion by the time altcoins are at their peak, maybe it's worth 9 trillion. Maybe it's worth 8 trillion. Maybe it's worth less than that, right? And at that case, the total market cap would come down a little bit, even though altcoins are increasing. So I hope that makes sense. I don't really know how else to put it all. All I'm trying to say is that if Bitcoin were to see a substantial drop from here in its dominance like it normally does, based off of what we would expect to see in the price predictions, based off of what we'd expect to see in the total predictions for the total crypto market cap, and then off of what is relevant and acceptable, I think, in the dominance, it would make sense that the total crypto market cap is at least around $20 trillion. If not, it's completely feasible that we could be at $30 trillion by the end of the cycle for the total crypto market cap. Anybody telling you that we're going to see 10 trillion by the end of the cycle, maybe 12 trillion or less, they're crazy. It's probably 20 trillion or more. We genuinely could go all the way up to 30 trillion. And the only thing making me think that is if Bitcoin's at a $10 trillion market cap, if we go all the way up to 500K, and then the dominance is down at, let's say it's down here at 42%. If 10 trillion is 42%, but that's the thing. If it was all the way down, we're at the cycle end, altcoins would be at their top, Bitcoin would be pulling back, so it wouldn't be at a $10 trillion market cap. It's hard to say, but let's just run with it. If it was a $10 trillion market cap, 42% is 10 trillion. That means 84% would be 20 trillion, which would then imply that we probably got another like 2 trillion or 5 trillion to go, which would be around like 22 to 25 trillion. I guess that makes sense with what we're trying to see. just shy of the 2618, just above the 2272. I don't know. I feel like I've made the point. I feel like I've said everything that I need to say. If it's confusing, man, just watch the video over again, or ask me, or leave a question in the comments and help me direct you to where I've confused you. I hope the concept is clear. I hope it makes sense. If the dot's connected, leave a comment, hit a like button, subscribe, whatever, do all that stuff, Essentially, we're just validating the possibility, the plausibility of Bitcoin seeing a $500,000 market or price by the end of the cycle, and then using that comparison with the total and then the Bitcoin dominance to just align exactly with the price. Like, it all makes sense. If we're going to see, if we are making this prediction up here that it's going to be around 500K, but none of this stuff made sense, well, we have to rethink things. But of course, it's great that this cycle high prediction that we've been making lines up perfectly with these other very fundamental, very, very powerful metrics in the crypto space. It's beautiful to see. So I don't know, guys. This is what I do for fun. I've been doing this for 8 years, right? I literally love charts. I was doing this for fun this morning, right? Like when I'm waking up in the morning and like people are watching their Tuesday morning news, or they're watching their favorite shows, or they're on their phone playing a video game. My morning ritual was literally piecing this together. Actually, I got kind of excited about it, but now that I've made the video, I'm wondering. I'm like, is it as good out here as it was in here? I don't know, but I feel like it was like an aha moment. I feel like this is really powerful stuff, and I don't think anybody else has made these connections in the markets. So I just thought I wanted to bring that to the table for you guys. If you like that, hit the like button, subscribe if you want more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.